Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I wanted to show you a couple of polls that C3 Nick had done that were pretty interesting. The first one here is how high is the share of crypto assets in terms of your total asset allocation. This one kind of surprised me because it's coming in at 63% of people have more than 40% of their assets in crypto. I thought that was pretty interesting. The next one, how certain are you to become financially independent because of your crypto holdings? Definition: financial independence means you have enough wealth to live on without working while maintaining your current lifestyle. That's an awful lot of people, 46%, who believe they're going to be completely financially independent. I thought that was interesting as well. And to be honest, that doesn't surprise me that much. I think that this bear market has allowed a lot of people to fill their bags to an extent where they possibly could have a good shot at that. The next one he did, do you possess more or less crypto assets than during the last bull run in December 17th? Now that's a very good figure right there. 88% of people have been buying into the downturn. And I think that those people are going to prove, and I'm one of them, they will prove to have really done the smart thing. And in fact, when I think back on December 17th, and this is an interesting point to make here, when I think back, there was a couple of problems that I had personally during that time. I could have cashed out and taken a lot off the table, but I did not have all of my exit ramps in place, and I did not even have my digital assets as securely stored as I should have. This bear market has allowed me to really get everything in place the way that it needs to be, and so it's been a great thing for me in that respect. Finally, his last poll is, when did you buy your first crypto? Now this kind of surprised me. 58% in 2017. So there's a lot of people who have just shown up here, and I think that's interesting. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are glad they did, even though a lot of you probably bought in to some of the hype when it was at its all-time high in January, right at the beginning of January of last year. But I think that the people that have been buying into this will be rewarded big time. Moving along. This is from BondCrypt, at BondCrypt. Why XRP will become the largest cryptocurrency? If there is one cryptocurrency that has followed the rule of the bigger base, the higher in the space, it really is XRP. Now he's referencing an article here that I wanted to read. This is very interesting, this article that has been written. This is from Investing Haven. So you can go to investinghaven.com. And it says Ripple's XRP, the longer the base, the higher in space. And I'm going to read a little bit of what they said here to you, because they make some very good points here, and I think that it's right on point. When it comes to Ripple's XRP, we believe this old saying is highly relevant. The bigger the base, the higher in the space. Essentially what this means is that the longer a sideways consolidation period, the more bullish power, because there are less sellers in that market. It may not be clear to many, it may sound strange, but crypto markets follow amazingly well classic chart principles. The only reason why it might not be clear is that things move 10 times faster in crypto land. They also move 10 times higher, hence there is 10 times more emotion involved in crypto investing. Essentially, during sideways trading, sellers tend to leave the market with every peak that is set. If a consolidation goes on for a long time, there are hardly any sellers left. That's the ideal market condition to create a new bullish trend. The psychology behind this has to do with the fact that participants are just worn out of that market and recognize the opportunity cost they've had to endure while waiting for a resolution. By the time the market breaks out, It's just been too painful to remain in the trade. And that's when Mr. Market resolves with an explosive move. One recurring characteristic is the false breakdown right before the explosive breakout takes place. This is where the saying applies: from false moves come very fast moves in the opposite direction. Right now we see XRP moving in the 30 cent to 60 cents range area for 6 months. XRP bulls pray that this consolidation goes on for another 12 months. The subsequent rise after this long base would be enormous and would send XRP at a minimum to our projected target of $20. Now, these guys, they're right on point with what they're saying here. I think that is a great article. And they did reaffirm their $20 price target on there, which I thought was interesting, and don't disagree with. This is at ECOSSEXRP1. He sent me this, which I thought was worthy of showing you guys because it's interesting. This, I've told you about Holo in the past, and when he sent this to me, it was up like 45% over the last 24 hours or so. Let's see what, I'll refresh this. It's 29% now. Let's see where we're at now. It might have gone down. So we're at 24%. But I wanted to make the point here on CoinMarketCap here. Last night, this is a pattern that keeps on repeating itself. And I want to last night, all we saw was green. We began to see up 2 to 4% on average in just about every digital asset. What we've seen over the last month, every time things begin to pick up, every time these digital assets begin to start to get some steam, someone comes in and does a Bitcoin dump or some, I think that it has to be being manipulated with Bitcoin because you can still do it. They won't be able to do this in the mid to long term as the real money begins to come in. But I believe, and I have believed, that this continues to happen. Every time the market seems to be getting a little bit of traction, this market is dying to go up, in my opinion. But every time it begins to get some traction, this happens. Bitcoin falls as top cryptos see moderate to major losses. And I want you to understand what I believe is going on right now. And it's only going on, I believe it's literally, like DM Logic said, it's someone standing on the lid of this market. And I believe that they're doing it until Wall Street really begins to come in. And that can happen as early as probably February now. They're going to begin to come in. But this, I want to read to you what they're doing. This is what's being done. And I am completely convinced that this is what's been going on here recently. I'm not saying the entire bear market of this year that's been going on. I think that we needed to have a pullback. But I'm talking about right now, all of the recipes there for this thing to explode. And every time it begins to head on up, I don't think anything is going to happen until you begin to see, because when Wall Street begins to come in, that also is going to mean that the regulatory environment is clearing and that it's being established that it's okay to come in. And so, but this is how, in the meantime, this is how a Bitcoin whale could manipulate this whole market, because when Bitcoin tanks, everything tanks. Two simple ways crypto whales manipulate the market, and I want to read to you about the second one: price suppression. They were talking about a huge whale back in, I believe, 2014 called bear whale. Well, anyway, in contrast to bear whale, some other whales have since then created waves in some crypto markets with much more strategic motivations. They can control the price of coins because there is still a relatively low volume of traders in the crypto markets. The more substantial and more frequent amounts of money funneled into the market, the harder it will be for the whales to manipulate the market as quickly as they are right now. They can suppress the price of coins in a pretty straightforward way. Let's say the whales know that an impactful announcement will be coming soon. Let's use this this is me talking now. For an example, let's say that the whales knew that Wall Street was about to come in and that it's just a matter of a month or so before Wall Street begins to come in. So they want to suppress the price. So let's say that whales know that an impactful announcement will come soon, or they want to load up on a coin in a specific price range so they can have an even more significant position than they do right now. All they need to do is put a massive sell order in on the books. that is lower than all the other sell orders in the market. This large order will force the other sellers to lower their price so they can sell their orders before the whale's sell order. The whale can then further reduce the enormous sell order price, forcing all the other sellers to drop their selling price even lower than before. These events then set off a bit of a panic chain reaction on the market. The whale will then pull their large sell orders off the market when they've created enough panic. The price is where they wanted it to be so they can accumulate more coins at their desired price point. This tactic described above is known as a sell wall. That, my friends, is what I believe for the last, at least for the last month, has been going on. And I believe that it'll kind of continue that pattern until it all happens. And when it all happens, it'll be backed in conjunction with, back does not begin trading without the regulatory approval. So you're going to get it all at the same time. And then the dominoes will begin to fall. And I'm not saying the second that back opens, it's all going to go crazy, but that's when the dominoes will begin to fall. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And tell your friends and family that sell walls are a real thing. Thank you for listening.